Tema Harbor is more than a civil engineering project. It is the basis for a new industrial age in Ghana.
Soon after Ghana achieved independence in 1956, the World Bank began to help this West African country. It lent money to build seaports, roads, and other large-scale projects.
This is the huge powerhouse which will eventually be supplying electrical power.
The bank's first major loan was for the Volta River irrigation project. It included the Volta Dam, then one of the largest in the world. The World Bank co-financed the project with a subsidiary of Kaiser International, Valco. Many Ghanaians are convinced the project was of greater benefit to Kaiser and the bank than to their country. One of the Ghanaians is economist Charles Abugre.
The electricity for 25 years was controlled by Kaiser International. They paid rates which was less than half the market value of electricity, and set up their own industry, which is smeltering bauxite. Meanwhile, Kaiser International had to be paid its loan. World Bank had to be paid its loan in addition to all the interest rates that have arisen.
Until the early 1970s, Ghana was the world's leading producer of cocoa. The money it made from exporting cocoa helped pay off its debt for Tema Harbor, the Volta Dam, and other World Bank-funded projects.
This is quite an historic scene, for this is the first cargo of hundreds of tons of cocoa being loaded from Tema Harbor, destined for shipment to various countries all over the world.
The bottom fell out of the world cocoa market at the end of the 1960s. Soon, Ghana's economy began to fall apart. By the early 1980s, it was in a shambles. Ghanaian officials knew where to go for help.
We went to the World Bank and the IMF in April, or perhaps June of 1983. And we were at the bottom of everything that is measured by any economic and social indicators.
The bank and the IMF agreed to lend money, but only if the Ghana government signed an agreement to make major economic changes.
We had to make choices, either to remain in the squalor, disease, and hunger, and rot away completely, or to pull ourselves by our bootstraps.
Now, by signing the agreement, eventually it became possible for Western donors to channel in a lot of money in exchange for certain policy decisions. So basically, the World Bank and the IMF were managers of the Ghana economy. They had become more or less the government.
And the government followed the agreement to make big economic changes. One change was eliminating subsidies for medicine. With the average villager earning less than $10 a week, that World Bank IMF-backed policy makes poor people even poorer.
This one, he used to buy it at 300.
Subsidies had kept the cost of this medicine at a price a poor villager could afford.
Health services are better now than before, but because of high cost of living, most people cannot afford to go to the clinic to take care of themselves. Before, medicines were supplied free, but now you have to pay for them. And most people cannot afford to pay for those drugs.
Ghana is 10 years into adjustment, and the growth, the improvement in the economy has not reached the stage that it can support its poor.
Meanwhile, the World Bank's own reports reveal that most Africans are worse off today than they were before the bank and IMF became active in that part of the world.